Okay, so let's talk about the game that is going on tonight. Sorry for not being around earlier on. Some things have been going on. I can't explain it, but let's just say that a lot has been going on my end, and it's difficult to explain. But in due course, I would explain it. It has to do with issues that borders on finances, not having it properly, and all that. But let's look at the game that's going on tonight, the one that everybody in the Premier League is talking about. Crystal Palace hosting Arsenal. First off, it's a London derby. It's a short trip, but it's not as easy as a lot of people think. But then there are other games. That's not the only game for tonight. There is a Torino Caglieri game. There is a Bologna AC Milan game. There is the Alaves Sevilla game. There is the Granada versus Rayo Vallecano. Man City had to play on Saturday, but the La Liga gave Sevilla a good rest to play today. So I think they will take their pound of flesh from their opponent. So I think Sevilla will go away and win this one. Granada playing against Rayo Vallecano does look like a game that will end in a draw. But if you want to bet, if you want to be a risk taker, put it on over 1.5. Like I've always said in a few videos that I've done, the start of the season is not really a time to do heavy betting. You need to find form and pattern of a team first before you begin to place heavy betting on them. My advice is, especially those that are betting online, is to use the beginning of the season to build your bet. There is actually no team that you can place your whole bet on. Even the Man City that is informed and say they will do this. I think that Napoli does look good. A good value for money. Even with the players that have left, they still look very, very good. But you still got to be cautious. So my advice always is, start the season, the first 5 games. Let's say you start your season with 10,000 in your bet account or 100,000. Depends on whatever you're putting in. Find a way to grow them. And right now, defensive pairing have not found the right rhythm. Attack have not found the right rhythm as well. But if you're betting over 1.5 in most of the games that you're betting on, the odds are very small, but they will grow your money. So if you start your account with, say, 100,000 or 10,000, after 5 match days, and you take your different bets in championship, key teams, like in the championship in England, now you know that Southampton is your key team, is your number 1 team because most of their players have not gone. Leicester also is 50-50 because some of their players have gone, and you're betting on them. You're growing your bet small. By week 6, you can now start to do accumulator. Accumulator also, you have to learn to start with 3 or 5 at most. Just tell yourself that my cap is 3 and my minimum is maybe 2 or 3. I mean, my cap is 5, which is my maximum, and my minimum is 2 or 3. That help you to grow, because don't forget that betting is not just for the fun of it. It's not for you to come online and complain that, oh, one game caught my ticket. You can't keep having that same thing all the time and just banking on luck. Oh, one day I'll be lucky. Yeah, you might be, but you also might not be, and it might take you years, and you get addicted, and then you don't win anything. But looking at this Crystal Palace game, and like I said before, I think that the Torino Cagliari game, I think that Torino will win that one. AC Milan Bologna, AC Milan is going away. Travel on the road is not too good, but I think they've done quite a few signings that will give them an edge. I think they will win this one as well, but over 1.5 is good. Even the Torino Cagliari game does look like an over 1.5. The Rayo Vallecano playing away to Granada look like a 1-0 game or a draw game. You can just ignore it completely. And then the Alaves Sevilla, I think over 1.5 is a sure bet, right? I can even take the risk of going as high as over 2.5 in that game. I think Sevilla will win, but that's not guaranteed. It's not sure. So let's look at the Arsenal versus the Crystal Palace versus Arsenal game, because Crystal Palace are playing at home, so we'll mention them first. In their last 5 games, Crystal Palace have won 3, lost 2. Not a bad side. Arsenal, on the other hand, in the last 5 games, these are preseason games anyway. These are, not serious games. You can't just put Arsenal in a place where you say it's top games. These are club-friendly matches. But in the last 5, Arsenal have lost 1, which is a game to Manchester United 2-0, and all the other ones they've won. They won some on penalties or going into extra time, and then the other one in regulation time. But let's look at these 2 teams carefully. In their last 10, Arsenal beat Crystal Palace 4-1. Crystal Palace beats lost to Arsenal again 2-0. And then Crystal Palace beat Arsenal 3-0. And then there is the 2-2 draw at the Emirates. Remember that. Then there's 3-1 and then there is 0-0, there's 1-1, there's 2-2, there is another 3-2, and then there's 2-2. What's the pattern here? Because this is when I talk about pattern, people say, what do you mean by pattern? Pattern here is that this game always produce goals. Of the last 10 games, only one game have produced 0-0. Every other game have produced at least over 1.5. So the average number of goals in this game is over 1.5. So this is the kind of game you can pick a combo and say, who's the most likely winner? In the last 10 as well, Crystal Palace have won only twice, if I'm not mistaken. They beat Arsenal, what's that one again? They beat Arsenal 3-0 to stop their title charge. And then the one that they beat Arsenal, I think it was 1-0 or so. I know that Crystal Palace beat Arsenal 1-0 in one of those. No, it's not 1-0. I think it's once. Okay, they beaten Arsenal once in their last 10 meetings, and all of these meetings are in the Premier League. So, plus or minus, you'll notice that there's an over 1.5 here. So, if you're going for Arsenal to win, and the way they are, they didn't play too well in their first game, but they won. And then they've got Julian Timbers injured, they've got Gabriel Jesus that is not available, but it does look like Arsenal win. What do? You can play a combo of Arsenal to win and over 1.5, or you can play both teams to score, or you can play just straight over 1.5, and then you add your other bets to it, and then you are safe. That's the way I see this game going. But if you not ask me my gut feeling, what's my gut feeling saying? I think that Arsenal will win, and the game is going to produce over 1.5 goals on a safe zone. I could even take the risk of stretching it to over 2.5, but that's on the risky side. This is a game that could just end in 2-0 or so. But also because I'm feeling like both teams can score in this game, Arsenal game, I just find the way to play. They bring back Gabriel Magalhaes, put Saliba there, and Ben White goes to his normal right side. Thomas Partey comes back to the midfield, and then it's a different conversation. I hear Alexander Zinchenko is going to be ready for this one. So, you know, you can be very careful. Wilfred Zaha is not available, but that changes nothing. This is Crystal Palace. They could be a thorn in your flesh, and you don't want that kind of thorn in your flesh to happen. So, I'm putting my smart money on Arsenal to win and over 1.5. It does look safe and possible. The Arsenal to win is probably the risky side, but the over 1.5 is not a risk at all in this game if you go by the history and pattern. And football is very, very predictable because pattern repeats itself in football. A lot in football, pattern repeats itself. That's why some teams will always struggle against some teams. Some teams will always lose scandalously against some teams. Just like that. It is what it is. Maybe once in 5 years, your team that they are always losing to, you will beat them. Tottenham Hotspur, Man United, case in point. But all in all, I just think that this game, Arsenal will win, and it's going to be an over 1.5. It's all up to you now to decide. Don't say, okay, because I've said it's going to be so. But this is what my gut feeling is telling me and my opinion about it. But having said that, I just want to throw something in for conversation's sake. Mason Greenwood have been kicked out of Manchester United. It's going to be a major conversation tomorrow on the Sports Buffet. But if you were to be able to advise the club that you support, what will you do? Will you advise them to sign Mason Greenwood right now? I mean, it's a player. As an Arsenal fan, I would want him to play for Arsenal because Ole Bukayo Saka is a player that Arsenal have on the right hand side. He's young. He's a player that have a point to prove. He wants to prove his innocence more on the field because he's leaving Manchester United is not based on the court decision, but it's based on the decision of public opinion. And that's most of the discussion we'll have tomorrow. So don't miss the Sports Buffet, myself and Emmanuel Sebastian. And I think tomorrow we'll make another announcement about the Sports Buffet, a little bit of change. We'll see how that goes. But thank you very much. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. God bless you.